Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla and the new show Overflow episode 50. Volkswagen is back at it again, using emission defeat devices. Guess they learned nothing from Dieselgate. And in Australia, full self-driving continues to impress the Aussies. And Nvidia's CEO Jason Hong was out saying that Elon Musk is quite unique. And the Berlin factory actually used less water than what they got permission to use. And Tesla might get permission to test out full self-driving version 14 in Sweden. And Tesla is expanding to new markets. And is also starting to deploy battery energy storage system in South America. And Q3 is coming to an end, and demand is looking very strong for Tesla. All of this and much more in today's episode. Start right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
You would think that after spending about 32 billion euros in fines for the Volkswagen Dieselgate, that they had learned their lessons. But no, they are still at it, cheating and lying. As Alex reported, Volkswagen continued to use emission defeat devices. They did it again. According to a court ruling, Volkswagen continues to use illegal defeat devices for exhaust gas purification in a certain type of Golf vehicle. The Higher Administrative Court of Schleswig-Holstein rejected the appeal of the Federal Motor Transportation Authority and Volkswagen AG. The authority had approved a corresponding software update for the engine control system. The preceding judge explained that switching off exhaust gas recirculation at ambient temperature below 10 degrees Celsius and low ambient pressure above 1,000 meters above sea level was a defeat device that was fundamental illegal under European law, known as the thermal window. The OVG thus confirms a ruling by the lower court. The Federal Motor Transportation Authority was obligated to immediately request Volkswagen to take all appropriate remedial measures within a reasonable period of time to bring all affected vehicles into compliance with applicable law. The German Environmental Aid Association, or DUH, believes that the test case will affect millions of diesel vehicles. DUH's Federal Management Director Reg called the Federal Transport Minister Snyder to instruct the Federal Motor Transportation Authority to immediately order all 7.8 million diesel cars affected by the Euro 5 and the Euro 6A to 6C emission standard to be effectively retrofitted or decommissioned at the manufacturer's expense. Volkswagen groups continue to commit criminal acts and try to get away with it. Yes, I did make a whole video called They Lie, 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 and we can now add another lie to that list. And people think that people don't want to buy a Tesla because of who Elon Musk voted for in an election. But that Volkswagen continues to lie and cheat on the behalf of our family's health and the health of our planet is apparently not a problem. There should literally be no one on this planet left that wants to buy a Volkswagen anymore. But there still is. Just like I made a video about the so-called brand damage of Tesla. In a year or two, no one will remember, because no one really cares as long as they can get a cheap car. Or else no one would buy a Volkswagen. But Volkswagen does have trouble even in Europe with their sales. Volkswagen and Audi will pause EV production in Europe due to slower than expected sales growth. Audi Q4, e-tron and Volkswagen's ID4 and ID7 electric cars are expected to be affected in the following weeks per Bloomberg. And as Alex wrote about this, some but not all products of Volkswagen's BEV are reduced while ICE production is partly having additional shifts. That tells you everything about Volkswagen Group's BEV's competitiveness, because overall BEV sales are going well in Europe and abroad, and they are not making some big refresh of their best-selling model. This is plain and simple, just not enough demand for Volkswagen's BEVs. And imagine a world where your online activity is as secure as a locked diary. Well, sadly, that is not our reality. Every click risks exposing your data. That's why I trust a VPN to keep my digital life private. A VPN shields my email, banking accounts, and browsers from hackers, letting me work or stream with peace of mind. So I'm thrilled to share my sponsor, Private Internet Access, or PIA, a leading VPN provider. PIA isn't just one of the world's most trusted VPNs, it's also a pioneer in transparency. Their 100% open source software let everyone verify their commitment to privacy, a rare move in the VPN world. I use PIA myself, like when I was in China for my nomadic YouTube channel, because in China you don't have access to YouTube. So without a VPN connection to change my IP address, I would not have been able to do any work while traveling in China, or able to stream my Danish TV abroad, not keeping up with my sports. But with PIA, I just changed my IP address and instantly unlock my Danish streaming service. It's also a game changer for accessing region-locked Netflix content, giving you a global library of entertainment. Without PIA, streaming feels like buying a VIP pass, but getting stuck at the gate. But PIA doesn't just hide your IP, it encrypts your entire connection, protect your data across unlimited devices, whether you're on your phone, your laptop or tablet, and PIA works seamlessly with all major streaming platforms. So, ready to take back your online privacy? Well, click my link in the description for an 83% discount on PIA, just $2.03 a month, plus 4 extra months for free. And with a 30-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 customer support, it's a no-brainer. Don't let your data be an open book. Secure it with Private Internet Access today. And a big thanks to PIA for sponsoring this video. In Australia, full self-driving continues to impress the Aussies. As Gareth wrote on X, full self-driving handle unmarked Aussies dirt road flawlessly. I am shocked. Pulling to the side for oncoming cars, steering around large potholes, etc. Was this purposely trained for? Yes, it has been trained on billions of miles driven by humans, so it has seen almost all edge cases and learned from it, just like it knows to slow down and pull over to the side for oncoming traffic. And Ollie also took his 80-year-old grandma out to try Tesla's full self-driving down under for the first time, and she thought it was amazing.
So not only is this the fastest car you've ever driven, but it's also the first car that drives itself that you've ever been in.
It's a very big experience. I've waited 80 years for this.
So to start, you just press and hold that blue button. And remember that you're supervising, so just to check your mirrors and have your hands ready if you need to take over. There we go.
Oh, this is scary.
What do you think?
Little girl, that's fabulous. It's really fabulous. Truly amazing. Yes.
But as we could see, she was kind of afraid in the beginning, which will be very normal, as Ryan also wrote on X. My mom literally just said to my dad, if you're going to use full self-driving, then I'll catch the train. This sums up how many others feel. They simply don't understand that full self-driving increases safety. Yes, this will take some time, but eventually I think it will be the other way around, that people will be afraid of getting into a car with a human driver and trust they don't get distracted and crash. As Ryan also wrote later for himself, driving a Tesla without full self-driving now suddenly feels unsafe. WTF. Yes, exactly. But we also had James that wrote an article about Tesla's full self-driving is a nuclear moment. Once you have driven with full self-driving for any length of time, it's hard to imagine life without it. Elon Musk and Tesla have changed the way we drive forever. There is no looking back. We put it through a week of challenging traffic situation, roadworks, merging disappearing lanes, 6-way intersections, Saturday sport traffic, Sunday go-slow driver, and the system negotiated them all with nuance and aplomb. Indeed, it is so good, it's easy to use and stress-free experience, might even convince my 40-something wife to finally get her driver's license. It's that good. Yes, like I said many times, people that drive full self-driving would not want to go back to anything else. But right now, the only car you can get with this software capability is a Tesla. So I think we will see a nice increase in demand for Tesla's cars in Australia and New Zealand over the next year. And Elon replied to Sawyer's post about it, this is just version 13. Yes, things are improving fast, and we will be on a whole other level very soon. Q3 is coming to an end, and the demand for Teslas are looking strong. Tesla continues to see strong demand in China and elsewhere, and Q3 sales numbers should be very good. I think we might be close to last year's 469,000 units in production and 463,000 units in deliveries in Q3, which would be amazing if Tesla is back on track in Q3, just like we have been talking about they probably would. Down in Q1 and in Q2 because of the refreshed Model Y, and then back to normal levels in Q3. And hopefully back to growing again in Q4. If they can pull that off, that would be about 80,000 units in increase quarter over quarter in deliveries. So if that is the case, the so-called journalists that keep saying that Tesla sales have collapsed will have lost all their credibility, as it's hard to argue that sales are collapsing if they grow quarter over quarter, but they will probably just continue focusing on last year's number. Look, they're still down compared to last year. Yes, because of the Model Y production line shutdown. And so far it has played out pretty much as predicted. But remember, just because they are back to normal levels in Q3 does not mean their sales will not be down year over year, year to date, because Tesla was back to last year's production numbers in Q2, but was still down 72,000 in Q1. So if Tesla were back to normal levels in both production and sales numbers in Q3, that would be an amazing achievement, but that would still mean that Tesla is still down about 72,000 units in production and about 109,000 units in sales. But collapsing sales is just plain stupid, coming from nothing but hate, no facts, numbers or rationale. And if Tesla is back growing again completely in 2026, well, they will just look even more stupid. But we can also just look at some more numbers to see in some places Tesla is even up 492%, as Tesla is seeing some strong comeback in Sweden, as the Model Y has previously slipped to 4th place in Sweden's ranking, and even with incentives such as zero interest financing, momentum have been challenged through most of the year. This is, at least until now, with September's results suggesting a notable recovery for the best-selling Model Y. Data from car.info indicate that Tesla's Model Y has become Sweden's most newly registered car in September. Compared to August figures, September's Model Y registration have seen a stunning 492% rise. It should be noted, however, that the year-over-year registrations are still down in the country, as noted by Car Ops report, as everywhere else because of the refreshed Model Y. But up 492%, well, that is not half bad. But also used Tesla prices in Sweden have risen nearly 10% from June to August 2025, reflecting a surge in demand for second-hand electric vehicles. This rebound, welcomed by dealer Carla, has boosted profitability as consumers find Tesla's offers great value compared to new models, thanks to their safety, tech and durability. Yes, like I said in my video about my 6-year-old Tesla Model 3 that you can get for about $25,000 in my country, that is even today still on par with most new EVs on most specs, and even better specs in many matrix. And because of the constant over-the-air software update, the Teslas are not really lacking behind in software either. So yes, still very good value for money. But in a country that has gone from essentially zero sales of non-emission battery electric vehicles to over 94% of new passenger vehicle sales in about 13 years, well, it is one of the few places that Tesla sales are actually up year over year, year to date. They will not see a new record for best quarter ever, but they are quite a bit over last year's Q3. So Norway's full BEV market continues to be a strong market for Tesla despite all the competition. And Tesla Chan also shared this photo from China China and wrote, "This is a view of Tesla China Beijing Grab Delivery Center, which was taken yesterday morning. It said the Model YL's rate was almost 50%. So that sounds like we could see a big jump in Tesla's Model YL sales. So let's see how it goes when we get some numbers. But in a couple of days, we will get Tesla's Q3 numbers and we can see how it all went." And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla shorts. Nvidia CEO Jason Hong said in a long interview that he did with Brad that Elon Musk is quite unique.
You said, this isn't just about better models. We also have to build. We have to have world-class builders. And you said, the most world-class builder maybe that we have in the country is Elon Musk. And we talk about Colossus One and what he was doing there, standing up a couple 100,000, at the time H100s, H200s in a coherent cluster. Now he's working on Colossus 2, which may be 500,000 GBs, millions of H100 equivalents in a coherent cluster.
I would not be surprised if he gets to a gigawatt before anybody else does.
Right. Yes, so say a little bit about that. The advantage of being, the builder who, isn't just building the software and the models, but understands what it takes to build those clusters.
Well, these AI supercomputers are complicated things. The technology is complicated. Procuring it is complicated because of financing issues. Securing the land power and shell, powering it is complicated. Building it all, bringing it all up. I mean, this is unquestionably the most complex systems problem humanity has ever endeavored. And so Elon has a great advantage that in his head, all of these systems are interoperating, and the interdependencies are resides in one head,
yes,
including the financing.
Yes.
And so
he's a big GPT. He's a big supercomputer himself.
He's the ultimate GPU. Yeah. And so he has a great advantage there. Yeah. And he has a great sense of urgency. He has a real desire to build it. And so when will comes together with skill, unbelievable things can happen. Yes. Yeah, quite unique.
And Alex shared that Tesla is using less water than originally planned at Giga Berlin and have therefore returned water rights of 377,000 cubic meters per year to Strasbourg-Erkner Water Association. Tesla consumed 456,953 cubic meters of water last year. Water consumptions include sanitary water was 2.16 cubic meters per vehicle produced, which is significantly below the industry average of 3.50 cubic meters per vehicle. To my knowledge, there is no other car manufacturer in Germany, probably in Europe, that uses as little water per vehicle produced as Tesla. So this is the factory we had these activists protesting against because of water consumption. And it's not only end up using less water than predicted, but is by far the least water consuming car factory on the planet. And this is the car factory they decided to protest against. They could have chosen any other car factory and it would have made more sense. These so-called activists are definitely not there because they cared about the environment. They just wanted to hurt Tesla. So wondering who was really behind this protest. And we have more analysts chasing Tesla stock price. Piper Sandler's analyst Alex Potter has increased his Tesla price target to $500 from $400 following a trip to China. After meeting with Chinese EV makers, we can see why Elon Musk respects these fast followers so much. Indeed, vertically integrated Chinese OEMs may be Tesla's #1 competitive threat. But when it comes to real-world AI, these companies look at Tesla for guidance, not the other way around. In the words of the company, without Tesla going from 0 to 1, we can't go from 1 to 100. Bottom line, Tesla remains our top idea for investing in autonomous vehicles and robotics. Alex added, "We think the catalyst path matters more to the valuation than the 2026 estimates. It now seems Full Self-Driving version 14 will be released any day. We think this will prompt a higher multiplier." And speaking of Full Self-Driving version 14, we might see version 14 in Sweden, of all places. According to information provided by Alexander by the Swedish Transport Administration, they performed a SAT site assessment test for Full Self-Driving 14 together with Tesla this week on Swedish roads. The Transport Administration is now assessing the test. Assessment will take 1 to 2 weeks. After the assessment is done, Tesla will get approval to test Full Self-Driving 14 2014 or whatever version they see fit on certain highway and roads while waiting for approval from a municipality to test in an urban environment. My own hope is that Södertälje will approve Tesla's application to test full self-driving there. I'm looking at possible actions the community can take in order for Södertälje to give Tesla the approval they need in order to gather the necessary data. Nice. And Tesla continues to expand as Tesla will soon launch operation in Colombia, making it the second country in South America with official Tesla presence after Chile. Tesla has posted multiple jobs posting located both in Bogota and Medellin, from Tesla advisor, service technicians to sales manager roles. Nice. And Tesla Economics shared this video and wrote, "For anyone that thinks humans are going to be better drivers than Tesla's full self-driving has no clue what he or she is talking about. Just to show a small point, look at everything my AI sees. No human on Earth can see all of this at once. It's simply not possible. However, my Tesla can. Yes, how people can think that AI will never be able to drive as good as human is beyond my understanding." And Elon Musk has thanked President Trump and his administration for allowing Grok to be used across U.S. federal agency, as he said. Thanks to President Trump and his administration, XAI's frontier AI is now unlocked for every federal agency, empowering the U.S. government to innovate faster and accomplish its mission more effectively than ever before. XAI has the most powerful AI compute and most capable AI model in the world. We look forward to continue to work with President Trump and his team to rapidly deploy AI throughout the government for the benefit of the country. And for the Chinese to come to Europe and start building cars, they have to change their way of dealing with suppliers from China, as AJ wrote on X. French authorities have requested extensive documentation from Nissan's European operation regarding supplier payments. At this stage, Nissan is not accused of any wrongdoing. Nissan could face fines if it violates French law, which require companies must pay suppliers within 60 days of an invoice being issued or risk penalties. Giving Nissan's global average payment terms of 76 days in Q2 2025, it appears there is a meaningful risk that payment in France may have exceeded the legal local 60 days requirement. In China, where such laws does not exist, automakers extend payment to well over 4 to 5 months. For example, cash-strapped automakers like Li Auto or NIO pay suppliers after 192 days and 176 days respectively. Yes, this will not fly in Europe, so they definitely have to do better over here if they want to produce cars locally in Europe. And Roland shared this chart and wrote, "The chart shows the BEV penetration in Europe countries year to date. This is the change in BEV sales year to date compared to last year. And as you can see, most countries has grown significantly in EV adoption. But when we look at the chart, we can also see that Scandinavia is leading the way, but it also shows us just how much more market or coming demand for EVs there will be, with all the red, orange and purple on this chart that is going to shift to BEVs. So there is still a lot of market to grab in Europe for all the pure EV makers." And Chile energy service provider Copec Flux has announced that it has partnered with Tesla to advance large-scale energy storage in the country, becoming Tesla's first certified service partner in Chile. The company said its technicians and engineers received training in the United States, enabling them to operate under Tesla standard for quality, efficiency and safety. As a part of the alliance, Copec Flux will install Tesla Megapack batteries at the Cosino small-scale distributed solar generation plant in Boone. The hybridization will provide up to 11.26 megawatt hours of storage, enough to power about 3,600 homes for an hour. The next big leap in energy deployment is storage, and doing it with Tesla give us access to world-class technology, said Copec Flux General Manager David Rao. Yes, Tesla's energy business is only getting started. That is all we have time for in this Overflow News Show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel, or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheets also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.